How's it going, everyone? And welcome once again to Animal Talk Podcast in collaboration with SACA, the South African Animal Keepers Association. My name is Ryne.
And my name's Ayrton. Hey Ryan, how are you?
I am doing well. How are you doing, Ayrton?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Excited for another podcast?
Yep, we're doing it again.
We do, and this time we have a very special guest joining us as well, so I'm very excited for today.
Ooh, you're going to introduce your guest?
I can. Well, today joining us all the way from Australia is a very good friend of mine and an aquatic vet nurse. Today we're joined by Mel Boots. Hey Mel.
Good morning.
Hey, Mel.
Hi.
How are you doing, Mel?
I am pretty good. How are you guys this morning? Well, your morning, my afternoon.
I'm okay. I'm a little bit low on coffee, but otherwise I'm good.
Low on coffee, and let's just say that the time difference is very challenging, but it has also been quite challenging getting Mel onto our podcast. I think it's taken us 3 months.
But she's here now.
Didn't work
But
in person, but we got there.
We managed. So welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Very exciting.
Well, Mel, as it goes on the podcast, whenever we have a guest, the first question we have to ask them is, what is their favorite animal and why?
As I mentioned to you before, it might be controversial considering my histories in sea turtle medicine, but seals, probably above many other species. I have a few top ones, but definitely seals. Purely because they look like puppies
And is
in the water.
Okay, because they look
and
like puppies.
And they're super fun to work with, I'm not going to lie.
I was like, that's a very scientific reason.
I know, they're cute and they're fun to work with. I got a bit of both.
Understandable. Yeah. I mean, they are a bit like sea dogs.
And intelligent.
Even when they get older.
Legitimately why they're called sea puppies.
Yeah.
Like, you see them in the water and they have a puppy dog face.
That's so cute.
I think I also just appreciate how when you see a seal walking on land, it's very similar to a penguin. They're just very clumsy. And then when they go into the water, it's completely different.
Yeah, they're like these suave, swift, beautiful Olympic-level swimmers when they're in the water, but when they're on land, they're like, I don't know, an elephant in a china shop kind of thing. And how they move differently versus like the walking and then the galumping is how we call it, when they just move along on their stomach.
So they kind of look like me when I'm swimming.
When they're on land or when they're in the water?
I didn't want to say it, but
if I'm in the water, I look the same as them when they're on the land.
Look, we can't all look like seals and be fantastic swimmers, so I feel that. I understand that.
Yeah. I just picture Ayrton in a tank, cleaning a tank, looking like this roaming seal, like majestically moving along with his flippers.
You know, that's the thing, is you think you're majestic in the water until there is a seal next to you, and then you realize how clumsy you look.
Until you look back on footage of someone's taken of you underwater and you're like, yeah, okay. Maybe not.
So Mal, for all our listeners, maybe you want to just explain to us a little bit about your career path and what actually it all entails being an aquatic vet nurse. Like, what is that?
It's a very good question. So I've done wildlife nursing for over 10 years now. So I started back when I graduated uni. I went straight into working with Australian wildlife. I was very fortunate to go into the wildlife industry straight up. It is quite hard to get into because you have to have a very special, I guess, level of skill and a good nursing head and background so that you're really good with just your basic nursing sort of stuff. And I worked in Australian wildlife for almost 8.5 years. So for about 6.5 years, I was at Australia Zoo Wildlife Hospital, which I'm sure a lot of people know as the Steve Irwin Zoo. And during my time there, I worked as the head nurse for the sea turtle rehab section. I worked alongside our sea turtle supervisor, and I was sort of more in charge of the sea turtle nursing and training nurses, anesthetics, surgeries, that sort of thing. That's really where I found like my niche in, I guess, marine nursing and marine conservation specifically. And I kind of just, I love my wildlife nursing and I love my terrestrial wildlife, but I really moved into like wanting to do a lot more marine and aquatic animals. So I left the zoo almost 2 years ago now. And when I left, I sort of took almost like a year and a half gap year kind of thing to go traveling to conferences overseas. I presented at an exotic nurse conference here in Australia on sea turtle triage and surgery. And the aquatic nursing comes into it in that there's a degree through the World Aquatic Veterinary Medicine Association, that's a mouthful, where you can do a year of study to be a specialized aquatic veterinary nurse or technician. So what this means is that it's predominantly for nurses that are working with aquatic animals, so in your aquarium settings, working at exotic fish vet clinics, any nurse that basically works with marine or freshwater species can specialize in it. So it's a year of intense study. You have a mentor who's already qualified in this particular degree, and you can sort of direct the degree itself to your areas of interest. So mine was specialized more towards sea turtle medicine and seal medicine as well, because I've done a lot of seal field work, which has been amazing. And so I guess that's where the aquatic nursing section comes into it. So I've really sort of specialized and focused now on marine conservation. So I was at Two Oceans Aquarium just last year for a few months working as a nurse there with Dr. Ilsa. That's also Ryne and Ayrton, where I got to really, I guess, get some fresh skills in more aquarium nursing too. My whole nursing experience is with rehabilitation of wild animals, so I haven't really dealt with more collection display animals. So it was very cool to be able to work on almost a completely different set of species while also still doing a little bit of sea turtles, but working on the seals over there as well. So that was, my most recent and probably my last real clinical nursing stint that I'll be doing for quite a while, because my next sort of endeavor, I've been accepted into my master's degree, which I'm hoping to move into a PhD, see how it goes. And that'll be on sea snake conservation and sort of moving into more sea snake, areas of interest, because it's such a niche area. So that's the long and the short of how I'm an aquatic nurse.
Wow.
See, Ryan, I told you she's cool.
That was a lot. Yeah.
There's just a mic drop, right?
Shall we just end the podcast now? I think we've done everything. Great. Thanks, Mel. Bye.
You're welcome. Peace out.
Wow. Mel, how long were you at Australia Zoo?
I was there from 27. I think it was just under 7 years, or just at 7 years. So quite a long.
Okay, so you started 2020.
Now you're testing my math. I graduated 2015. I did 2 years at my first wildlife hospital. So I started there the end of 2019.
Ah,
so,
just missed you.
Maybe just over 6 years,
I just missed you. I was there September 2018.
Oh, really? Wow. Just for a visit?
Yeah. I was there for about 6 weeks, just volunteering, helping out the Birdo group.
Oh, nice.
Bird shows at the Crocuseum and those type of stuff.
Yeah. No, that would have been cool. We didn't really get out of the hospital much. We never really knew.
When I was there, I went to go and see a vet friend and barely saw him at all, Brett Gardner, because...
Oh, yeah. Brett's one of my mentors. He's a good friend,
way too busy to even see me. So I was like, okay, bye.
Sorry. He started about a month before I did. Yeah. So, it would have been just around then.
Crazy. Small world.
It is a small world.
Yeah, it would have been cool, though.
It is.
But now you guys know each other now.
So close to actually knowing each other in person. That's crazy.
I'm also just thinking we're going to have to give you some time, and then once you're done with working with sea snakes more, I think we're going to have you back on another podcast, because that sounds like a whole different adventure.
I was just thinking that. I was like, that sounds like fun, but now we can't talk to you about it because you haven't started yet.
Oh, I know. I can tell you all about it off the podcast until I've officially started and got stuff going. Then I can talk about it on an official capacity.
Sounds good with us.
I can tell you all about my ideas at least.
It just means we have to have you back, which is amazing.
That is so fine with me. As Ayrton knows, I can talk about what I do all day long for people who are interested, because I find it very cool. So,
other than being out in the aquatic side of two oceans, was there anything else other than going to see the seals and work with the seals? Anything else that you really enjoyed about being in South Africa?
Well, I guess I have to say, obviously, because I spent a lot of time with Ayrton and Krish, that I really enjoyed doing stuff with my friends, and our little get-togethers and gatherings and day trips.
And jellyfish.
And the jellyfish, obviously. Spending time with the jellies.
There's always jellyfish involved. Why am I not surprised?
I really enjoyed it. It was quite interesting. So I was living with a friend who also works at the aquarium, Claire. She's part of the marine rescue team. So she does ferry drives once a month. So they go out to the Durin, and they do the free veterinary care and the free desexing for the communities who can't afford that care for their dogs and cats. So I got to experience going out with her for a day, which was really, really interesting and a real, I felt very privileged that I was able to, go out and not just see the really bougie, expensive side of Cape Town, which we work in at the waterfront, obviously, where it's very touristy, has a lot of international people. I found it very cool to be able to go out and actually interact with people from the communities 2 or 3 hours out of Cape Town, as well as obviously getting to the very touristy part of the waterfront. And I would be up on Table Mountain, I think, every weekend or so. Hey, with Claire, probably every Sunday we were out hiking on a different trail up Table Mountain, because you just have such beautiful, beautiful mountain trails there. So there was a lot that I enjoyed, but yeah, probably the hiking and getting to do all the little day adventures with Ayrton and Krish and our group of friends, which was very cool. It was good to experience it. It sort of felt like I lived there as opposed to just visiting as a tourist kind of thing. So
that is the best way.
See a different side of it.
Best way to experience a country is when you're like that.
I think we're going to have just a separate podcast on our hike adventures, because there were some. There were some that were quite rough.
Yes, our friend is
I thought we weren't going to talk about that, Mal.
Oh my goodness.
One of our friends is banned from coming hiking with Claire and I again. So, yeah.
Oh dear.
Good times though, good times.
And then Mal, maybe you want to just tell us as well, with all the years of experience, is there any cases in particular that you can share with us that have stood out for you, that are memorable, or a particular animal that you've worked with, maybe an individual or a species that is always on your mind, or a story that you carry with you?
I could talk all day about different animals and patients. People get sick of listening to me talk about my animals. Obviously, I have some very special sea turtle patients that I've worked with. I've got probably two turtles in particular, and then one seal, I reckon, would be my most memorable. So the turtles, one of them, they're both green sea turtles. One of them was named Nubby because she had 3 flippers. She had just a little nub on one of her front joints, which she had lost a limb quite a while ago, healed, everything like that. So she also came in with a old constriction injury to her other front flipper, which at the time of admission, we weren't actually sure the flipper would be viable. So it had done quite a lot of tissue damage to the flipper. And so this is when Brett Gardner, Ryan, was there. So he's been a massive mentor for me in the marine conservation and marine medicine area. And so we decided to try this technique on her, a diagnostic technique that's used in horses. So they use it to detect laminitis in the hoof. So what it was, we inject a contrast into the slipper itself, and what you're really looking for is to see if the limb has active take up of the contrast, because it means that it does still have good or has some form of active blood flow to the very distal part of the limb, so right on the tip of the slipper. This hadn't been used anywhere in a sea turtle as far as we could tell, so we were like, Brett's words were, give it a go, can't hurt, why not? So it is used very routinely in horses, so absolutely safe to use in other species. So we decided to use it on her, and it proved actually to be a really effective technique for us to determine that, yes, we could still see that she had good blood flow to the remaining front flipper. So we were like, okay, so euthanasia is not an immediate action, because sea turtles who don't have two front flippers under welfare and ethics guidelines have to be euthanized. So we were like, awesome, let's give her a go. Started her on local antibiotic injections to the flipper itself, to all the soft tissue damaged areas, to try and fight the bone infection that she was showing. And we repeated this particular diagnostic method, I think, every month or every few months. And what we were able to find was that we were able to prove that we could use this as an extra diagnostic technique if we had a sea turtle like this, where it could be a life or death sort of situation. So she's one that's very special, not just because she's one of the first cool ones that Brett and I did together, but I ended up writing a short communication research paper about her and another turtle that we used the same technique on. So that was my first published paper, and she was in care with us for almost a year and a half between 3 different facilities. So she's very special for all of us, and we got to go out on the boat with SeaWorld and Sea Life, which are 2 of the aquariums here in Queensland. All 3, facilities got to contribute to her rehab, and then we got to go out on the boat with her and release her back out to an area with really nice seagrass beds, which is very cool. So she's actually one that I have a tattoo of on my shoulder. So she's a very special one. And then the other turtle was another entanglement one. So her name was Kapanga. She came in as a crab pot entanglement. So on one of her front flippers, she had a very, very severe entanglement that had been on long enough that the flipper had actually started going necrotic. So she needed to have surgery to remove the flipper. And she is just a very special one purely because she was such a textbook anesthetic and surgery, wake and recovery. And as an anesthetic nurse, like as a sea turtle nurse, I'm so happy the sea turtle wakes up very quickly from an anesthetic, especially after a long surgery. Because normally you could be sitting there for 8 hours or so waiting for a turtle to wake up. It's not fun. It's very boring. And so she was purely a special one because she was just so textbook. I was just so proud of her. And then the other one would be my first seal that I got to work with, which again was I was volunteering with a friend of mine who is finishing his PhD on Australian fur seals, and Brett is one of his mentors. And I got to go out on a field trip with him down off Phillip Island, which is down in Victoria, one of our most southern states. And it was, just the first seal that I ever got to nurse and do an anesthetic on. And he was a very sick little pup that we were able to do some tracking on and tag him. And then Adam, my mate, who's doing the research, he saw him again 6 months later, and he was probably about 10 kilos heavier, real chunky, like a real boy by that point in time. So
chunky seal.
So he's my 2 turtles and my seal are probably my most memorable. I've worked in this for so long. I have many of every species, but they're probably my 3 most special.
But those are the ones that stand out.
Exactly. They're the ones that stand out for all different reasons.
I also just love how you say, like, waiting for a sea turtle to wake up is actually really, really boring.
Like, it's interesting when I'm teaching anesthetics nurses. Obviously, an anesthetic is a very serious, and you have to really focus, and it can be a very dangerous part of a surgery. But it can also be if it's anesthetic's going well, you're fine. It's all good. And with sea turtles, they can take so long to wake up that it's never a stressful thing really doing a sea turtle anesthetic. Like if they're showing signs that they're slowly waking up, perfect. It could still take them another 3 hours, an hour, or 6 hours. I have sat intubated with a turtle intubated for I think 6 hours before breathing for it. And that's when it gets quite boring.
I can just imagine taking like all your data on how much time you spent waiting for sea turtles to wake up over your career and putting it into a pie graph.
Oh man. It would be a solid few days at least. If you maybe a week or two, let's be honest.
So Mal, we'd also just like to ask you, for our listeners especially, if there is anyone that's interested in going into being a vet nurse or an aquatic vet nurse, what advice do you have for someone who's interested in this career?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different avenues you can go. So if you're wanting to get into just domestic vet nursing, so that's just your dog and cat clinic, and then specialize on from there, you've got every country has a vet nurse qualification in some capacity, whether it's a degree or a certificate. You just look at what your local university or education offers, and you'll do that course. If you want to then specialize more in something like wildlife nursing, I would honestly suggest even just start volunteering while you're doing nursing at a local wildlife facility if you have them, or with even like a local wildlife rescue group. Just getting experience with handling wildlife in a small capacity is even a really good start. I always try and tell nurses that as cool as it is to get into wildlife straight out of uni, it is a very hard industry, and I've never want to sugarcoat that part of it. It is quite hard because wildlife, obviously, you work with a lot of triage, a lot of trauma. So really having a solid nursing background to actually go to a domestic clinic, work for a solid few years, to then go into wildlife, I think just gives you a much better base knowledge and skills, and just that nursing brain to be able to cope with doing multiple things at once and be able to compartmentalize and to actually allocate things when you might be working in a really busy wildlife facility. You really need to have that before going into it. So a solid few years of just doing some domestic nursing and then trying to volunteer or just get any sort of experience at a local wildlife facility, always the best way to go. To get into aquatic nursing, which is then obviously another specialty even further along, I think anybody can get into it if I would definitely say have to have wildlife nursing experience or exotic vet experience. So in Australia, we have exotic pet vets, which I know in South Africa, there's I think 1 or 2 exotic clinics as well who will see birds, fish, rabbits, anything that's not a dog and a cat. You've got your specialist vet clinics. Getting into those sorts of clinics that have like more fish or freshwater turtle, anything like that, is another really good way to start. But then also getting the exposure of going to an aquarium, seeing if, they do nurse internships, or can you shadow the nurse at your local aquarium or something like that for a week or two, because you really want to, I think, first see if it is something that will interest you, because it is hard work. It is a lot of knowledge that you have to learn and a lot of skills that you have to be able to develop, but it is worth it if you are really, passionate about working in wildlife or aquatics. The course that I did is extremely niche, so you have to have somebody as your mentor who's already qualified as an aquatic nurse. There's only, I think, 11 of us worldwide that are qualified. So even being able to get into contact with someone who's already in the job that you want or doing a role that you would really interest you, try and message them and sort of get some guidance from them on how they did it, what can they suggest you get into. I've been very fortunate and I've had amazing mentors throughout my career so far anywhere from, wildlife vets to aquatic vets to other nurses who also specialize in marine animals, to even, you guys at the aquarium teaching me all different things about different aquatic animals that I haven't worked with before. So finding a good mentor as well, I would say, is very important. Yeah, like there's a lot of avenues that you can go through. So you really want to know really which one you're interested in the most, and then find someone who works in the job or the industry that you want to get into, and then just reach out to them. Like it's never going to hurt to just shoot somebody an email or a message, or I don't know, slide into their Instagram DMs if it's not, in a weird way, and just be like, hey, I'm heading into nursing school, blah, blah, blah. I'm really interested in this species. Can you suggest, how I could get some hands-on experience, or even like some courses that you might know to do? So it never hurts to ask somebody who's in the role that you would love to be in one day, because we all started as baby vets or baby nurses or baby acarists. So we've all been there. So yeah.
You got to start somewhere.
Exactly. You have to start somewhere. And that's something I've learned. It's experience, but it's also who you know, especially in this industry, because it is such a niche and small industry. So the more you put yourself out there to just try and make connections and meet people and really show initiative, and that you're passionate about the role or what you want to get into, it's the best way to go.
Yeah, I think, also, like, for everybody in the field or in this career, there's always like those key people that have assisted you along the way. And as you said, it's making connections, not in a weird way, but there's just these people that generally stand out to you and you maybe look up to, and they always, you connect with them because you have things in common and you share passion. So yeah, I think that's
exactly.
what you said is really important.
You never know who somebody's going to know.
Yeah. It's a small world.
It is such a small world. And I was joking about the other day, I have a contact with a vet nurse who works with seal rehab in Canada, and I got in contact with her through like a 20-person internal email chain that happened because someone sent me an email for someone in America. Like, it's this really weird web of connections that you just never know who somebody can get you in contact with. It's just all about, taking the initiative and finding people who are passionate about what you are also passionate about, and just starting from ground zero. But yeah.
And sliding into the DMs.
And sliding into the DMs in a non-creepy way, yes.
And I just slid back into this podcast in a non-creepy way.
That was very smooth, actually.
Welcome back, Ryne. We're talking to Mel Boots. She's an Australian vet nurse.
Are we still there? I have no idea if I am going to be recorded, because we had this problem the last time where I came back into the studio and it didn't record me. So let's just hope for the best. Thanks for listening, everyone, and a very big thank you to some of our new listeners who might be listening on eRadio, and a big thank you to eRadio once again for allowing us to be broadcast every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on eRadio. We also have our social media platforms, Ayrton.
We do. We're pretty much on everything. We are on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Our handle is Animal Talk Podcast _ZA. So go give us a follow, go subscribe to us on YouTube, and please share our profiles so that we can reach even more animals and animal keepers.
Definitely. Mel, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great chatting to you, even though I may have dropped off a little bit there and here and there, but it's been awesome getting to know you and chatting to you, and let's do this again.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. It's been fun. I'm glad we finally got it lined up.
Thanks so much. And you know what, everyone? As I always say, animals are our passion.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and remember that our quality of care is their quality of life.
Just never lose your passion. If you're passionate about something, don't let people talk you out of it. You're passionate about things for a reason.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Mel, can you hear Ryne?
No. Oh no.
So he's shouting on his side saying, "It's happened again." We had this happen once before,
Oh no.
where it's this weird thing where I can speak to the
Yes.
guest and Ryan can speak to me, but we can't all speak to one another.
Oh no, you're just the middleman now.
I am the middleman.
You just have to interpret everything he says.